Now, we're going to get to that. First, we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Stuart Collins. I was at the first session of this track, and I'm a product marketing manager at OSIsoft.
I'm Alicia Kopic, and I'm a product manager for visualization products at OSIsoft.
Yeah, and we're really happy to be with you. So you might be somebody who has, you're new to the Pi system, and you've only seen like a couple screenshots of the visualization products that OSIsoft makes at other places in this conference. Maybe that's where you're at. Or perhaps you're somebody who has used one of our visualization products, but not the other one. Like maybe you've used Pi Datalink, but you've never used Pi Vision or Pi CoreSight. Or maybe you've used Pi system data in some other way you visualize it, and you want to see what OSIsoft makes. But that's what we're going to be going through in this session. Yeah, and as I said, this is the fourth session in this track this afternoon, and we're going to be looking at tools for visualizing data. Where it sits in the architecture, so this is a picture of the basic architecture of the Pi system. And there's a data source. That data is collected by a Pi interface or Pi connector. And then that's brought to a Pi server. And then it is sent to Pi client software. Now, what we're going to talk about is Pi client software that OSIsoft makes. We call it native to the Pi system. It's maintained by OSIsoft. It's developed by OSIsoft. Its new releases are made by OSIsoft. There's a lot of other great ways to visualize data that's stored in the Pi system when you export it to some other system. And we're happy to have you do that. What we're going to talk about today is the tools that OSIsoft ourselves make. And we think they're great tools. We hope you do too. And we're going to start with a question for you. Now let me switch over to the good view. Because we want to know, we want to be able to speak to what you are, where you are right now. So, oh, this isn't showing yet because I have it only on this screen. There we go. OK. So if you go to pollev.com/StuartC on your phone or anything internet connected, you can respond to this poll. And Alicia and I are interested in this room, of the people that are in this room, have you used Pi Vision before? Also known as, have you used Pi CoreSight before? Have you used Pi CoreSight before or Pi Vision? What the product name now is Pi Vision. Have you used it before? So yes, no, but I've seen it before, and no, and I've not seen it before. I have very little knowledge of it. OK, good. So we're seeing right now, it looks like about half of you are totally new to Pi Vision or Pi CoreSight, and maybe about 1 in 5 people have used Pi CoreSight before Pi Vision. All right? OK, wow, it's racing up there. Oh, what will win? Well, both of those answers are no, I have not used it before myself. Maybe I've seen it. OK, so I guess let's picture that. In this session, we're actually going to be working with Pi Vision. You will see us working and building a screen and showing the different parts of it. So you're going to get to actually, if you're in the category C, you're going to be in category B by the end of this session, OK? Very good, very good. OK, so now let me go to my next question. OK, next question. So if you already responded, you can come back and respond again. Have you ever used Pi Datalink before? Pi Datalink is the tool that takes Pi data and puts it into an Excel spreadsheet. And from there, you can use a variety of Pi Datalink functions that we think are dandy, that work really well with time-based data. You can also use all the Microsoft Excel functions that are available there. So this was a lot more people have used Pi Datalink. OK, so you've used Pi Datalink. That's very familiar. Well, I don't know if it's very familiar to you, but you've used Pi Datalink before. And then there's about 1 in 3 people have not seen it before. They haven't used it, and they haven't seen it before. It's about half the room. Half and half have used it, have not. OK.
OK.
Super. And we have one more question for you about this. Let's see here. It's all funky because it's on there. OK. In your role, will you use a Pi visualization tool? So this is any Pi Datalink, Pi Vision, some other Pi visualization tool. Maybe you're the type of person who is going to be using that tool. Or maybe you're the type of person who is never going to use that tool, but you need to know about what they do, and you'd like to know about what they do. So we'd just like to know, so that we know who we're speaking to, are you planning to use it, or do you just need to kind of know how it works? And it looks like 9
right.
out of 10, yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Well, good news.
Good news. Well, you're in the right place. You're going to see exactly that. Click in here. There we go. Okay.
All right, so like Stuart said, today we're going to be looking at two of OSIsoft's flagship visualization tools, PyVision and PyDatalink. PyVision is an HTML5 application that you can access in your browser, which means that it doesn't matter where you are, you can see your data on any device. And it's great for building displays like dashboards, process monitoring displays, as well as analyzing your data and being alerted to important events about your assets. PyDatalink, like Stuart said, allows you to bring your data, your PyData, into Excel, and then use the power of Excel to work with your data and format it and build beautiful reports.
And with PyDatalink, again, it is an add-in to Excel, so it's mixed with all the things you can do in Excel as well. You can do with PyDatalink. So the way we're going to show this is let's take a trip into like let's create a scene, Alicia. We'll be engineers. I'm a busy engineer from a turbine maintenance team at the Windy Hills site for a power generation site of wind turbines.
And I'll be the asset health engineer from the Big Buffalo wind turbine site.
Great. Okay, well, let's start. So, Stuart, I'm somebody who's very busy in my job. I actually have to keep up with a lot of these turbines. They move really fast, and sometimes there are things that break down that I didn't foresee happening. But whenever I see you, Alicia, you're always like really calm, collected, and I know, I mean, I've seen the numbers. Your site performs just well, and you keep up with it. But like, what are you doing to watch the turbines to maintain them? Because I'm running all over the place to do it.
Well, we're using the Pi system to manage and store and analyze all of our Pi data. And I'm actually using PyVision to monitor and view our data. So
Okay.
let me actually show you some of our displays.
Sure, yeah, what does it look like? Oh, what is that?
Okay, so this is our wind farm overview display for the Big Buffalo wind farm. So you can see that there's some updating data on here. We can see the installed capacity and the availability of our wind turbines.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, installed capacity right up there in the top left, availability. And what's the chart there? What is that showing for you?
Okay, well the trend is actually showing us the aggregated data, the aggregated power for all of our wind turbines across our wind farm. So we have the aggregated power as well as the expected power and a 1-hour forecast. Now, these are all calculated on our server, but we can trend them just like any other measured real-time data.
Really? Okay. Yeah. And you can just click on it in the highlights. Well, and what's that table there? Generator outputs. Is that's each turbine in the table? What does the table show?
Exactly. So the table is all of our wind turbines at the Big Buffalo wind farm.
Oh, okay.
And we can see the individual power for each individual wind turbine. So we have the trend showing our aggregated power, and we can see the individual power from each turbine is producing.
So can you sort the table? Like what sort of things can I do with the table there?
Yeah, the table is sortable, so we can sort by the attribute columns.
Oh, okay.
Or by the name of our assets.
Wow, that's really great. And what's the date? So it shows data from the turbine, obviously, but like how old is that data? Like when? I don't know. What's the delay on seeing that?
Well, this data is being measured nearly milliseconds or seconds before we're seeing it here. So this is all updating real time on this display.
Really? Okay. Great. And obviously, okay, so I can't ignore the blinking red lights down there. What do I can't look away. What does it do?
So those down at the bottom of the screen, we've got all of the turbines from a wind farm and the status. And I actually have calculations configured on my server. So, and those calculations are identifying potential issues with my wind turbines. And I have my visualization set up. So the turbines that the calculations identify as having a potential issue is blinking red, so I can draw my attention to the assets that really need my attention.
Yeah, it's very good at getting my attention, I gotta say. Okay.
So I actually also have, we should probably investigate the blinking turbines.
Yeah, they look very insistent.
Yeah. So I actually have another monitoring display for specific wind turbines. It's going to give us some more detailed information.
Okay.
And what we can do is I actually have that display linked to this display. So we can double click on, if I can find my mouse, we can double click on the wind turbine with the problem, and that's going to link me directly to a wind turbine monitoring display, and it's going to update it with the context of the wind turbine that I selected.
So that's a display for just that turbine.
Exactly. So this is a display showing us data for WTG03, the one of them that had a problem.
Okay. So how can we tell what's wrong? How can we find out what's? I mean, it was blinking red before. Like, what do we do now? Like, what do you look at? What do you put on this display?
Okay. So there's a number of things that we can do to analyze the data from PyVision. So one thing that we can do is zoom in on a particular time of data. So I can on this trend just zoom in to a particular area.
Oh, you can just drop a box?
Yep,
Okay.
just drop a box and zoom in, and that's actually going to update the whole display to look at that particular timeline that I'm focusing on.
When you say update the whole display, like what do you mean by that?
So before I drew that box, all of these gauges that are just showing one value, all of those gauges were showing current time. But when I drew that box, I changed my display time, so the end was not current anymore. So now they're all showing me time in the context of that time period that I
so that
selected.
might be showing you what was happening at 9 a.m. this morning.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so there's some other things that we can do. We can use the time bar at the bottom to change our display to look at the last week if we want.
Oh, those are different time periods, and you can just like select it to find what time period you want to see. Okay.
Exactly. And then another thing we could do, let's say I want to actually look at so I'm noticing that my gearbox temperature is red here. So this is similar, this display is similar to my overview display where the gauges are going to turn red if they're having problems. So it looks like my gearbox temperature might be overheating, and I might want to take a closer look at what that temperatures looked like over time.
Okay, yeah. How do you do that?
So I can actually double click on that gauge, and it's going to pull up a trend of that data over the past week. So it looks like the temperature's been increasing a little bit.
Starting to go up. Okay, so
for the past couple days. So I'm feeling like this is probably the issue that overview page was warning me about.
And what's the orange line? The big box you want?
So the orange line, because my gearbox had additional data behind it, the alarm that I was calculating on my server, we can see a trend of the temperature, and we can also see when that alarm went off.
Oh, that's the alarm. Okay, so the alarm is on, and then the blue line is the increasing temperature, and we can see that it's getting worse. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's good to know now, I suppose. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So
there's so someone probably should have been looking at this yesterday.
I suppose so. I thought, well, maybe this is more like my turbines than I thought. You have to deal with reality too. How does it know to turn red? It's not like the sensor is red now or something. Like how does the display know to turn the gearbox temperature red and the other ones are blue?
So that's being powered by calculations that I have configured on my server.
You configured that. Okay, I get it. So this is all great. So I like it, but like, how long did it take you to put this together? Because it looks great, but I'm not like I have like tons of time on my hands to do building of stuff. Like, what is involved with building it?
It's actually pretty easy to get started, so I can show you.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Please.
So I'm just going to start by creating a new display.
New display.
By
okay.
clicking New Display. Now it's really easy to find the data that we're looking for. I can click on my asset palette, and this is showing me all of the data for databases that I have access to.
Okay.
So I'm just going to navigate to my Big Buffalo wind farm so we can start building a wind turbine display. So let's just grab.
Oh, those are all the turbines. Okay.
Yeah, and now we can see all the turbines in my Big Buffalo wind farm. So I'm just going to pick one of these turbines, and let's just start building a display.
Sure.
I think first, maybe we want some trend data.
Yeah, I really like trends.
All right, so I'm going to trend the active power for this wind turbine just by dragging active power on the screen. And I think I'll also add the expected power as well. So I'll just add that to my trend.
Good. How about the expected power average? Does that have data or something else?
Yeah, I can add that as well.
Huh, okay, look at that.
That one did not have data.
Oh, that's great. Oh, you haven't built that one. Okay, great. But it just pops on. What else? So you had you had bars before, like what?
Yeah, so I can add some gauges to this as well. All I have to do is I'm going to select a radial gauge, and I think I'll add the generator speed. So let's go find my generator speed. We can create a gauge for that. And I think I'll add a gauge for rotor speed as well.
You have all of that, so all of those things are recording data or have data recorded, and it's just all there. Like how did what's there end up there since it got recorded and into the Pi? I know we're recording things in the Pi system, but how is that showing this list here?
So we're using an AF to define all of our metadata, so all of our assets and the relationship between those assets, and then the data that is related to those assets. So everything I'm showing you here, it's really powerful because of AF, but you can do the same things with directly with Pi tags as well, if you're not yet using an AF system. Okay.
Or if I don't have a I know Asset Framework is a great way to go, but I'm just kind of getting started with that. Could I build like a few and start there?
Definitely.
Okay. All right, so I don't need to like build the whole thing first before I could use this.
So you can build a single display for one wind turbine and reuse it for all of the rest of your wind turbines.
Okay, that sounds good.
So
that sounds
as you build out your structure, you can just continue to reuse your display that you've already built.
Okay, great. All right, so what else do you want to show me about this? What else should I know?
So I think I also want to add an image to our display. I can pick a custom image if I want from my computer, but I'm going to actually go to our graphics library and grab a picture of a wind turbine. So the graphics library has a lot of kind of pre-configured assets like tanks and pumps. So I'm just going to grab a wind turbine, add it to my display, and let's just make that bigger.
Okay.
Okay. So now I think, why don't we add some animation like we had with the gauges?
Yeah, no, I'd like that.
All right, so to add some animation, all I have to do is select one of my symbols, and I'm going to hit Add Multi-State. And that means that I can add like a different state, a different color of that object, depending on what the data looks like.
That was where your bar for gearbox temperature was red and the other ones were blue? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay, great.
So in this case, I'm just going to, I'm going to make it so that when my generator speed is under 20, we're going to make, let's set my whole range first. And then when my generator speed is under 20, we're going to make that gauge needle red. And since it's under 20 right now, you can see it just changed color.
Oh, okay. So as it moves up, it would change color, and as it comes back down, it would turn red again. And that way, okay, and then I get it. So then I can notice the red things and do things about the red stuff. Okay, love it.
All right, so I think the last thing we need to do is add some identifying information to our display. Let's add a title. I'm just going to move all of these items down.
Okay.
And go ahead and head back to my wind turbine. So I could just add a text title if I wanted, but I'm actually going to add the value of an attribute. I have an attribute created on my wind turbine with the turbine name. And the advantage of doing that is, like I said before, since I can reuse this display for other turbines, when I switch which turbine I'm using, the display is just going to update with the name of the turbine I'm looking at.
With the new name, okay.
So I'll just select my value symbol from up here, so it knows that I want just a value. And we'll do a little bit of formatting to select the information we want.
There it is. Okay, WTG01. And if so, what would it? So can you? If I were to switch assets and switch to a different turbine, everything would update.
Yeah. So I don't even have to do any extra configuration. I can just switch.
Okay, switch to O2. Oh, look at that. Even the color even changed. Okay. All right, that looks really great. Can you share this? I mean, could I start with this? Could you send it to me?
Yeah, definitely.
And I can look at that?
So all I have to do is save it, and then set the security so that you can see it as well. And then I'll just give you the URL, and you can go to that and take a look.
That would be awesome. Okay.
And then if you want to use that as kind of a template to build your own display, you can start building off of that. And then when you save it, you'll save it. It'll prompt you to save it as your own display.
Got it. Okay, that's totally makes sense. I love it. Now, this looks really good for like finding out what's wrong. Like if I'm like, I think there's a blinking red light in front of me, what's going on? And then going and finding out about that. But once I've kind of found out, okay, this is the thing I need to do something about, this is the problem, I need to send in a maintenance report or another report. How do I can't, I mean, this isn't that though. Like, is there a way to get this data in for a report?
Yeah, so we're using Datalink for reports at the Big Buffalo Wind site. Let me pull up our report and I can show you.
Okay, yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, so this is our incident report, and we already have it pre-configured. And what I have to do, since we had a wind turbine incident on wind turbine 3, and I know it's at least been going on for the past 2 hours, I'm going to go ahead and select my wind turbine 03 from this drop-down here.
So turbine 03, okay.
GE03.
GE03.
All right, and that's going to update this report. It's going to pull in some identifying information.
Okay, I see that. So we got manufacturer, model, turbine state, load operation, latitude. Okay, so it's location. Oh, okay, so all that information gets pulled into the spreadsheet.
Yep, and I also had some events, some calculations configured on my server that create event frames when the wind turbine is having some kind of problem. In this case, a high temperature event.
Yeah, okay.
So an event is like a bookmark in time. So bookmarking a period of time like a shift or some period of non-standard operation like startup of my equipment, or in this case, some issue like high turbine temperature. So I have these events configured. And so I'm going to select the event that it's finding for this GE03 turbine.
It's like an in-progress event.
Exactly.
On the turbine. Okay, and it pull. Oh.
All right, so I've selected the event, and now it's going to pull in data for the time that the turbine's been having a high gearbox temperature.
Where is it getting that data from?
So this is the same data we were seeing on PyVision. It's similarly coming directly from AF and the PyData archive.
Okay.
So we've got, so we're pulling in and identifying information from the asset framework, the manufacturer, the model, the location of the turbine. We're also pulling in just some raw data that we can trend.
Yep.
And then in addition, we're pulling in some summary information about the temperatures over this time period. So we've got the unit of measure for each, well, in this case, the unit of measure is the same, but for each individual part of the wind turbine, for the temperature of those parts.
Yeah.
We also have the current value, so we know what this current status of that turbine part is, as well as the min, max, and average and standard deviation of those temperatures over the duration of this high temperature event.
Wow, okay. And that's all then graphed above.
Right, so that's what we're seeing here.
Okay.
And because this is Excel and we can use all of Excel's built-in functionality, we're using conditional formatting to highlight the gearbox
I see that, okay.
temperature. Excel knows which, the report knows which part of the turbine was having a problem, and so it's highlighting that for me in red, so my attention is directly drawn, and I understand that event is related to high gearbox temperature.
Or if I were to show it to somebody else, it would be, they would see, oh, that's red. I should look at that. Okay, good. Okay. What else? How long does it take to? So this looks really good. How long does it take to build this? Like, if we were to configure something like this, what's involved in that?
Well, I can show you how to get started. Let's add some data to this report.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So let's say I want to add the active power.
Okay. So
Now,
power right now.
let's go ahead and add the active power, the current value of active power. Now, I actually have some other sheets set up in this Datalink report that have the identifying information for my turbine, and that's built based on the selections that we're making from those drop-downs.
Gotcha. Okay. So those drop-downs are linked to text elsewhere in the sheet that you've built up. Okay.
Exactly. And so in order to add just a current value, I'm going to go to my Datalink tab. So because this is an add-in to Excel, it's just showing up in the ribbon with all of the other functionality of Excel. And I'm going to select the current value function.
Current value. Okay.
Okay, so that's going to pop up this little panel on the side here, so I can get the current value of my active power. So all I need to give it is the path to my turbine, which I'm going to grab from my metadata sheet that I had created over here as part of a way to power the data behind my report.
Okay.
So I'll grab the path, the asset framework path for my wind turbine, as well as pointing to the name of the attribute that I want to get.
Okay, so of this turbine, give me active power, is what you're asking for.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So we're
Gotcha.
asking for active power. And we can just hit apply and pull in the current value. All right, so that quickly, we can pull in a single value into our spreadsheet. I can also...
and will that value change, or is it just like...
So that
it was relevant 10 seconds ago, but is it going to change as we get new data?
Yeah, so if I have my Excel spreadsheet set to update automatically, it's going to just continue to update as data is coming in at the frequency that Excel is configured to update. And that's because if you take a look in the formula bar, you'll see that Datalink has really just created a formula. So Datalink has, behind the scenes, a library to access PyData, and it's building these formulas to actually configure what data we want. Now, because we're using formulas, and because this is Excel, I can actually really easily just apply whatever I've already configured to other attributes. So let's say I want the min, max, and average of active power as well.
The min, max, and average. Okay.
So I had that information for my temperatures here. Let's add it for active power.
Active power. Okay.
And like I said, because this is Excel, and because PyDataLink is creating formulas, we can just drag this over. And that's going to update for active power.
It says kilowatts, and then it has the active power, the minimum, the maximum lately. Wow, that's slick. Okay. Just like that. Nice.
Just like that.
That's pretty good.
So we've pulled in current value, some calculated summary values. And last thing I'm going to show you quickly is how we can just pull in some raw data, just the data for active power.
Sure. You mean like raw data, like all the sensor data?
Exactly.
Okay.
Any data that we have, we can pull in here. And it's really just as easy as it was to pull in the current value. I'm going to select my compressed values function. So this means that we're getting all of the data that's actually stored on the PyData archive for the particular for the time range that I select and the wind turbine and attribute that I select.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm going to, again, select my path to my wind turbine. I'm going to get our active power. And then I think that we should get data for the past 3 hours.
3H. Okay, 3H, 3 hours. Okay.
And this is just a format of specifying time that we use in Pi. Star represents now.
Okay, so star is now, and star minus 3 was 3 hours ago. Okay, okay.
Exactly.
I get that.
All right. So that's really all I need to do. I'm going to tell it that I want to see the timestamps of the data as well. And we'll just hit OK. All right, so now we have the last 3 hours of data for active power on my wind turbine.
How far down does that go?
It goes pretty far down, and it came in really, really quickly.
Wow, that's slick. But that's like really, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever use that because it's like all a bunch of black and white numbers with a bunch of decimals. It's kind of hard to tell what it is.
So similarly to what we were doing on the report, I can actually use Excel conditional formatting to kind of point out areas in my data that I'm interested in. So let's just select that whole range of data. And then I'm just going to use Excel's conditional formatting here to show me when my active power is greater than 1500.
Okay, so whenever it's 1500, make it red. All right. Okay, all right. So then it just like points me out to all the ones that are. That's really slick. Okay, great. Can you send this to me? Can I take it from here or see how it works?
Yeah. So since this is just a report and it's using formulas, and I had the path to my actual data specified in cells that I'm referencing, if I send you this report and you put in the information for your server and the path to your turbine and the attributes you're interested in, you can basically just use the same report and it'll populate with your data.
Okay, great. This is gonna make life so much easier. I'm really happy about this. Thank you for showing me all of this. Is really good. I'll probably call you. Is that okay to like ask other questions once I get into it?
Awesome.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
So that concludes our demo.
Yeah, you want to speak? I'll get us up.
Yeah. So today we showed you two of our flagship visualization products, PyVision and PyDataLink, and we learned how you can use PyVision to analyze, to monitor your data, build rich dashboards, process monitoring displays, analyze your data, and become alerted to important events that might be going on. And then we looked at PyDataLink, where you can pull your data into that spreadsheet format that all engineers are so familiar with and love, where you can really work with your data in that spreadsheet format, do analysis, some quick analysis, and build reports using the power of formatting that just comes built into Excel.
That's right. We find that PyVision and PyCoreSite is used for like situational awareness, watching what's going on, investigating something, and quickly building up a display. And PyDatalink is a lot of analysis and reports. OK.
All right, so I want to thank you all for joining us today. I'd encourage you to check out the OSIsoft visualization booth, as well as the PyCoreSite 2017 product talk on Thursday. A few of the features we showed you today are coming in the 2017 release for PyVision, and they're going to be demonstrating the features we showed you today and a lot more exciting features that are coming in 2017. So please go ahead, check out the talk, go visit the booth, and see everything that we can do with OSIsoft visualization.
Yeah. If you have any questions like, hey, can it do X, Y, Z? We're happy to field those, and the booth areas have an area with PyVision or PyIntegrators, and they are the experts. It's the actual experts in like what the different tools can do for if you have a specific system you want to integrate with or use it with. I'd point you and encourage you to explore PyVision using the Internet of Hotel Things, little fun competition. As you walk around, you'll see little sensors in the hotel that are actually monitoring rooms and temperatures and noises. And it's available. You can actually go poke through that data. And it's probably one of the best ways to learn and see if the tool works the way you hope it does, and does. And we hope it does. And you can use a phone or a laptop or any device you have to do that. So this concludes Pi 101 track. We've gone through 4 sessions today. And if you've been here for all 4 sessions, I really acknowledge you and thank you for like being with us for Pi 101. I hope we really got you off to a good start, and that you are enabled now to go to other sessions tomorrow and Thursday and understand what's being talked about and the basics of the Pi system, so you can get the full value of the industry tracks tomorrow and of any of the product talks or other talks you'd go to on Thursday. That's really what we hope to like leave you with Pi System 101. Do you have any final words? No, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.